Good morning, everybody. I hope this video finds you well. Bear with me, I'm new at this. I want to start a video blog on mental illness. As far as mental illness, I mean depression, PTSD, agoraphobia, panic and anxiety disorder, hypochondriacs, addiction. And unfortunately, I'm saddled with every damn one of those. So, the whole purpose of this video is to help inform, get people together to talk, and that way nobody feels alone. There's always somebody there to talk to, share experiences with, things that worked for you might not work for somebody else. But it's good to know that there's always somebody else there. I'll share some of my experiences with you. I'll share a few of those today. I don't want to do a really long video for my first one, but we'll see what happens. My depression started when I was 14, 15 years old. My personal belief is because I was severely bullied in school. Bad enough where I dropped out when I was 16 and got my GED. I started drinking at a young age. Now, mind you, my home life wasn't bad. Both my parents were always there. They both always worked. They worked their asses off. They both were alcoholics. They both did use drugs. So when you see that shit growing up, believe it or not, it messes you up. Now, do I blame my parents for any of the way I am now? Not a chance. The only thing that they could even take part in is maybe a little bit of the depression. But that's about it. As far as my addictions, I was a big boy. I made my own decisions. No one poured the booze down my throat but me. And I take 100% responsibility for that and everything that went with it. But after high school, I got married very young. I got divorced very young. I got married young again. And out of my second marriage, I had 3 awesome kids. I mean, great kids. I couldn't ask for any better. Unfortunately, I got divorced then, too. Then marriage number 3 came along. And that's a whole messed up situation. But anyway, we're divorced. I've been with the same girl now for 13 years. How she's still with me, I have no idea with my issues. No clue. My best friend, she's been with me for 7 years. Again, I don't know how. One day I'll be great. The next day I'll be crying. The next day I hate the world. But what sparked me to do this video blog was 3 weeks ago I fell into a very, very deep depression. As soon as I noticed the depression setting in, I immediately called my doctor. I went in, they adjusted my meds, so now I'm on 200 milligrams of Zoloft a day and a half milligram of Klonopin twice a day. It seems to be helping out. I still have my moments. Like today has been rough, but it's still early. I want to cry, I miss my kids, but it's not common to miss. It's not uncommon to miss your kids. It's a good thing, you know. My kids are grown, doing their own thing. I think that's great. I've got one in the Army, I've got one in college, and one in their junior year of high school. If this seems kind of scattered, it's because it is. I didn't write anything down. I'm just kind of winging it. So yeah, one of the biggest things with dealing with depression is make sure you get help. Talk to somebody. Whether you call 911, whether you call a crisis line, call a counselor, call a friend, talk to your pet, whatever it takes. If you are diagnosed with a mental illness, I don't mean to downgrade doctors at all. They're very intelligent, but I've also found that doing your own research doesn't hurt. Go to the library, the internet, whatever. But I will tell you, some of the stuff you find is going to scare the shit out of you. When I was doing research a couple weeks ago on my depression and what I could do to get better and this and that, it talked about suicide rates and this and that, and 20% of all people diagnosed with depression will end up taking their own life. Guess what? I'm not going to be a number. It's not going to happen. Not me. If you've got kids, you got family, you got a best friend, you got friends in general, you got people that love you. And there is no reason on God's green earth to take your own life. There's nothing you can't get through. One of my favorite quotes is, God gives his toughest battles to his strongest soldiers. But my rebuttal to that is, I'm strong, but my ass is tired. I've been dealing with this shit for 13, 14 years. From having panic attacks 2 or 3 times a day, where I'm taking Ativan like it's fucking candy. Excuse my language. Just to keep my panic attacks under control. Not being able to leave the house. Now that I am able to leave the house, I can't be alone. And there's very few people in this world I trust. I mean, my kids, my girlfriend, my best friend, a couple other people, and that's about it. So, yeah, I mean, get help. No one is ever completely alone. It may seem that way. It may feel that way. Trust me, I've been there. But you're not. Shit, if you're on social media, put a post on Facebook that you're feeling depressed and watch how many people actually respond. You'd be surprised. Nobody wants to see somebody else hurt. Nobody wants to see anybody else in pain. And mental pain, believe it or not, is the worst. I would rather break my back and be in traction than feel what I felt the past 3 weeks. It's a horrible feeling. But you get up every day, you fight through it. You gotta have the mindset, this shit is not gonna beat me. I'm not gonna be a number. I'm not gonna let it win. Now, my PTSD did not come from being in the military. My PTSD came from seeing shit that you just can't unsee. It does give me nightmares. It does haunt my dreams. It causes panic and anxiety attacks. But it's something I'm dealing with. I'm also a hypochondriac. So a hypochondriac with anxiety, holy shit. Every time I get a cold, I get a pain, either I've got cancer, I'm having a heart attack, I've got lung cancer. It's stupid. Perfectly honest, it's friggin' stupid. It's irrational thoughts. And I can say that, I have permission to say that because I'm going through it. But you will be okay. 9 times out of 10, you go to the doctor and there's no findings for what you're feeling. Oh my God, I got a headache, I must have brain cancer. No, you probably stay at the damn phone or the TV too long. One of those things, you know? But reach out. Always reach out. I've been sober for 13 years, and I felt myself backsliding, where when I hit this depression, all I wanted to do was drink. Because I knew from experience from years past that drinking self-medicates and the pain goes away. The next day, I've got a hell of a headache, but that didn't matter because come 9 o'clock in the morning, I'm cracking another beer. But what I did is last Sunday night, I found my ass in an AA meeting. And I went to a meeting. I hadn't been to a meeting in 10 years. And I sat there and I listened. And I listened to people, you know, how they turned to God and how they did this. Whether you believe in God or not, everyone's got a higher power. It's just the way it is. Whether you worship the sun, moon, stars, whatever. Everyone worships something in their own way. But at that AA meeting, I realized I needed to not turn back to God, but I need to put more faith in God. Now, mind you, I'm not a completely religious man. I'm not. I'm a sinner at heart. I always will be. I'm covered in tattoos, and it's a sin, and I love it. But anyway, the AA meeting really helped. It did. It took off the urge to drink for that day. So if you are an addict, don't be afraid to go to a meeting. You don't need to say anything. They call it Alcohol Anonymous for a reason, or Narcotics Anonymous for a reason. You don't have to say anything. Just sit there and listen to what other people have to say. And 9 times out of 10, after you hear some of these stories, you'll feel better about yourself. Your problems don't seem that bad. Now, mind you, a lot of people that have used AA have slipped. I have, fortunately, have not. I haven't had a drink in almost 13 years. And the reason for that is because when I had my first major panic attack was after after a 14-hour drinking session. And my wife at the time thought I was having a heart attack. So they rushed me into the hospital. Find out I wasn't having a heart attack, I was having a damn panic attack. Well, the doctor started pushing on my stomach and this and that, doing the whole doctor routine thing. And he goes, wow, your liver's quite swollen. I'm like, bummer. He goes, you drink a lot? I said, oh yeah. He goes, you realize I give you about 3 years and you're dead. And I said, excuse me? And at that time, I believe my oldest was 6, maybe 7. My youngest was 3, 2 or 3. Now, I went home, dumped out everything that contained alcohol in my house. Everything. And as far as my drug use, that stopped when my son was born. My first son was born. I made up my mind that right then that I was not going to have a drug problem. I love to get high. It was a great thing. But again, not something I needed in my life. 2 years ago, I quit smoking. That was a battle in itself. So literally, the only drugs or anything that go into my system are what the doctor prescribes. I don't even use caffeine anymore. I don't even drink coffee. No caffeinated soda, nothing. But that's just how I choose to live my lifestyle. Do I eat right? Hell no. Fried food, best thing in the world. Could be why I'm 5'5" and over 200 pounds. But anyway, to get back on track, none of these mental illnesses are a joke. None of them to be taken lightly. None of them are reason to be made fun of or anything of that nature. But always reach out. Get help. My phone is on Facebook Messenger 24 hours a day. 7 days a week. If you need to talk, message me. I'll be there. I'm not a counselor. I'm not a doctor. You could say I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. The only thing I can give you is personal experience. So, reach out to somebody. Get outside. Let the sun beat on you for a while. Hang out with some friends. Do whatever you got to do to make yourself feel better. But I'm going to sign off for now. Take care of yourself. Love somebody. Let somebody love you. Take care, y'all.